You stand at the edge of a battlefield within your soul, staring into the shadowed mirror of your own reflection. There, lurking in the dim light, is the weak version of yourself, the one who flinches at the first sign of struggle, who surrenders to whispers of doubt, who quits when the path grows steep. Do you recognize this shadow? It's the part of you that has held you back, time and time again, from claiming the victories you deserve. This is no mere flaw. It's a weight, an old, rusted armor that clings to your frame, dragging you down with every step. But here's the truth. You are a warrior, and warriors shed what no longer serves them. In this journey to kill that weak version of yourself that keeps quitting, you begin by facing the shadow within. Feel the fire stirring in your chest. You are not here to cower. You are here to strip away the frailty, to forge something unbreakable. Let's step into this fight together, right now. Picture yourself lacing up your running shoes for the first time in months. Your heart beats with resolve. You've made a promise to transform your body, to reclaim your strength. The first few days, you push through the ache in your legs, the burn in your lungs. You feel alive, unstoppable. But then, life intervenes. A late night at work, a rainy morning, an unexpected errand. I'll skip just today, you tell yourself, the excuse slipping out like a thief in the night. One day becomes two, then a week. Soon, those shoes gather dust in the corner, and that weak version of you, the one who quits, whispers, "There's no time, you're too busy. This isn't for you." You listen, you stop. The battlefield is abandoned, and the shadow wins. But let's rewind. What if, in that moment of hesitation, you had paused to see the lie for what it was? That excuse of no time is not your truth. It's the rusted armor of your weaker self, clinging to comfort over courage. Imagine yourself as a warrior, standing tall after a grueling march. Your old armor, dented, heavy with the weight of past surrenders, falls to the ground with a clang. You don't need it anymore. You step forward, lighter, stronger, ready to run again. The lesson here is clear, identifying that weak version of you, the one who quits at the first obstacle, is the first strike in this battle. You must name the shadow, call it out as the liar it is, and choose to move despite its voice. That choice, that single step, is how you begin to shed the old and embrace the new strength waiting within. Now imagine yourself as an aspiring writer, hunched over a desk with a story burning in your mind. You've poured hours into crafting your first manuscript, every word a piece of your soul. With trembling hands, you send it to a publisher, daring to hope. Days later, the response comes. A polite rejection. Not a fit for us at this time. The words sting like a blade. That weak version of you, always lurking, seizes the moment. You're not good enough, it hisses. You don't have the talent. Why even try? And just like that, you close your laptop. You shove the pages into a drawer. You quit. The dream of seeing your name in print withers, buried under the weight of one no. But what if you had seen that rejection for what it truly is? A test, not a verdict. What if you had stood as a warrior, gazing at the rusted armor of self-doubt that you've worn for too long? You could have torn it off, piece by piece, and realized that one rejection does not define your worth or your potential. A warrior does not flee at the first clash of swords. They sharpen their blade and return to the fight. The lesson burns bright. Facing the shadow within means recognizing that weak voice that urges you to quit after a single setback. It's not your truth. It's a mask you've worn, a weight you can shed. Pick up the pen again. Write one more line. That act of defiance is how you begin to kill the quitter inside. Take a moment to stand before the mirror of your own life. Look closely. Who do you see? Is it the warrior you were born to be, or the shadow that cowers behind excuses and fear? We all carry this weaker self within us, a version of who we are that trembles at the thought of failure, that seeks the easy path, that quits when the storm gathers on the horizon. This shadow is not your enemy in the way you might think. It's a part of you. Yes, but it's also a teacher. It shows you where you've faltered, where you've surrendered, where you've let doubt forge chains around your spirit. How many times have you listened to its whispers and walked away from a fight worth waging? How many dreams have you buried beneath the rubble of not yet or not me? Think of yourself as a warrior on the eve of transformation. The old armor you wear, crafted from past failures, woven with threads of fear, is no longer your shield. It's your burden. Every time you've quit, you've added another dent, another weight to its frame. But here's the truth. You are not bound to carry it forever. Facing the shadow within means seeing this armor for what it is, a relic of a weaker time. It means understanding that every surrender was a choice, not a destiny. You can choose differently now. You can lay down the weight of who you used to be and step into the unyielding strength of who you are becoming. The storm of doubt may howl, but you are the mountain that stands unmoved. Will you shed the old skin, or will you let it define you? Let's dig deeper into the quiet moments of surrender. Each time you've quit, each time you've let that weak version of yourself take the reins, you've felt it, the heaviness that settles into your bones. It's not just disappointment, it's a slow erosion of your spirit. You tell yourself it's temporary, just a pause, but every pause becomes a pattern. Every "I'll try again tomorrow" builds a wall between you and your potential. That wall is the armor of your weaker self, forged not from steel but from hesitation, from fear of pain, from the seductive lure of comfort. Have you ever stopped to ask, what am I truly protecting by quitting? Is it my pride, my heart, or simply the illusion of safety? Picture a warrior standing in a windswept valley, their old armor cracked and tarnished from battles they fled. They kneel, not in defeat, but in resolve. With each piece they remove, each doubt, each excuse, they rise taller. The wind no longer chills them, it fuels them. This is you. The weight of surrender is not your birthright. It's a choice you've made, and it's a choice you can unmake. Facing the shadow within means looking at every time you've quit and seeing it not as failure, but as a call to transform. You are not the sum of your setbacks. You are the force that rises after them. Shed the weight. Let the valley echo with the sound of your rebirth. So, how do you begin this battle against the weak version of yourself? It starts with a simple, powerful act, naming the shadow. When the urge to quit creeps in, don't let it hide in the corners of your mind. Call it out. Take a moment, right now, if you feel it stirring, and write down what it's saying. Is it telling you you're too tired to keep going? That you're not good enough? That tomorrow will be easier? Put those whispers on paper. See them for the lies they often are. This act of naming strips the shadow of its power. It's no longer a vague, overwhelming force. It's a thought you can challenge. Next, replace the lie with a truth. If the shadow says, "You don't have time," counter it with, "I will make time, even if it's just 5 minutes." If it says, "You'll fail," respond with, "Failure is just a step toward mastery." Speak these truths aloud if you must. Let your voice drown out the quitter's chant. Finally, and take one small action to defy it. If you're tempted to skip a workout, do 5 push-ups. If you're ready to abandon a project, write 1 sentence. That single step is your sword striking against the old armor. It's how you begin to shed the weight. You don't need to win the war today. You just need to fight one battle at a time. Keep naming, keep striking. The shadow will shrink with every blow. Another weapon in this fight is building a ritual of resolve. When doubt threatens to make you quit, pause and breathe. Slow down. Feel your feet on the ground, your heart in your chest. Ask yourself, am I one decision away from a breakthrough? Often, the answer is yes, even if you can't see it yet. Then, commit to a tiny, unbreakable promise. Tell yourself, I will do this one thing, no matter what. Maybe it's showing up for 10 minutes. Maybe it's sending one more email. Making one more attempt. That promise is your shield against the shadow. Create a physical reminder of this resolve. Carry a small token, a stone, a coin, a note with a word like unstoppable written on it. When the weak version of you whispers, hold that token, let it ground you. Let it remind you that you are a warrior, not a quitter. And after each small victory, reflect. Write down or speak aloud one thing you did to defy the shadow today. These rituals build your inner strength, piece by piece, until the old armor of weakness no longer fits. You're not just shedding it, you're forging something new, a resolve that cannot be broken. Start today. Pick your token. Make your promise. Step into the fight. As we close this first step in our journey to kill that weak version of yourself that keeps quitting, look back at the ground you've covered. You've faced the shadow within, stared into the mirror of your own surrenders, and seen the rusted armor of doubt and fear for what it is, a burden you no longer need to bear. Through stories of abandoned fitness goals and silenced writers' dreams, through reflections on the weight of surrender, and through actionable steps to name and defy the quitter inside, you've begun to understand the truth. Identifying this weak version of yourself is not an act of shame, but of power. It's the first cut in a battle to reclaim your strength, to forge a warrior's spirit that does not flinch or falter. You are not bound by who you were yesterday. Every choice to quit was a moment, not a sentence. Now, you stand at the threshold of transformation, ready to shed the old and embrace the unyielding fire within. As we move forward, hold this lesson close. To kill the quitter, you must first see it, name it, and refuse to let it rule. Let this be your battle cry as you prepare for the next fight. Shed the old, rise as the warrior you are. You stand at the edge of a smoldering ruin, the ashes of your past decisions swirling around your feet. The air is thick with the bitter scent of surrender, and deep within, a quiet ache gnaws at your spirit. Why does quitting sting so much? Why does it feel like a betrayal of the person you swore to become? Welcome to the heart of transformation, where the pain of giving up becomes a spark that ignites your resolve. In this crucible, you will face the weak version of yourself, the one that flinches, that falters, that flees. But here, in the fire of resolve, you will learn to burn away that frailty and rise anew. This is not just a battle, it's a rebirth. Like a phoenix, you must let the old self crumble to dust so the stronger, unyielding version of you can soar. Are you ready to face the flames? Let's begin the journey to kill that weak version of yourself that keeps quitting. Picture yourself as a young student, burning with ambition. You've dreamed of a career that sets your soul alight, perhaps a doctor healing lives, an artist painting the world's unspoken truths, or an engineer building bridges to the future. You've poured hours into study, your desk a battlefield of notes and highlighters. But then, the exam comes. The questions loom like unscalable cliffs, and your mind stumbles. The results arrive, and they're a dagger. Failure. Your heart sinks. That weak voice inside whispers, "You're not enough. This isn't for you." The pain of falling short is too heavy, so you turn away. You choose a safer path, a job that pays the bills but dims your spark. Days turn to months, and every time you pass a hospital, a gallery, or a blueprint, a pang of regret stabs you. What if you had tried again? What if that failure was merely the ash before your rise? This is the pain of quitting, not just the moment of surrender, but the haunting that follows. It's the ghost of your potential tapping on the window of your safer life, begging to be let in. But here's the truth. That failure wasn't your end. It was your invitation. Like a phoenix, you must let the old, fearful self burn in the flames of that defeat. Transformation demands destruction first. You didn't fail the exam. You failed to see that pain as your forge. The lesson is clear. Quitting buries your dreams, but resolve resurrects them. You can still return to that desk, rewrite those notes, and face that exam with a fire no failure can extinguish. Rise from those ashes. Your dream is waiting. Now see yourself as an athlete, your body a temple of grit and sweat. You've trained for years, your muscles carved by endless repetition, your mind sharpened by the vision of victory, a race, a match, a moment of glory. It's all within reach. But then, disaster strikes. An injury tears through you. A lightning bolt of pain that shatters your rhythm. The doctor's words are a cold wind. Take it easy. Rest. Fear creeps in, whispering, what if you never recover? What if you fail again? So, you stop. You hang up your shoes, abandon the track, and let the dust settle on your dreams. Each morning, you wake to a body that yearns to run, to fight, to win. But that weak voice holds you back. It's safer here, it says. Yet every sidelined day carves a deeper wound than the injury ever did. This is the torment of quitting, a surrender that chains you to fear. You didn't just stop training, you stopped believing. But listen closely. That injury was not your defeat. It was your crucible. Like a phoenix, you must let the oldly timid self perish in the fire of that setback. Transformation is not gentle. It demands you burn away the doubts and rise with wings of iron. The lesson shines through. Pain is temporary, but quitting is a scar that festers forever. So unlace up those shoes again, walk before you run, strengthen what was broken. Your comeback is not just a race, it's a resurrection. Step into the flames and let resolve be your rebirth. Take a moment to sit with this truth. Quitting is not a single act, it's a slow poison. It seeps into your bones, dulling your edges, dimming your fire. How many times have you walked away from a challenge, telling yourself it was just not the right time? How many dreams have you buried under the weight of a single stumble? The pain of quitting is not in the moment of retreat, but in the quiet years that follow. When you look in the mirror and see a stranger who once roared with ambition, but now whispers excuses. That weak version of yourself thrives in those ashes, feeding on your hesitation. It's comfortable there, in the ruins of what could have been. But comfort is a cage. Think of your life as a vast pyre. Every time you quit, you add another log to the fire, but it's a fire that consumes without creating. It burns your potential, leaving nothing but soot. Yet, within that destruction lies a choice. You can let the ashes bury you, or you can become the phoenix. Transformation begins when you stop fearing the flames of failure and start using them to forge something unbreakable. Pain is not your enemy, it's your alchemist. It turns the lead of surrender into the gold of resolve. So, stand in that fire. Let it strip away the weak layers, the doubts, the excuses, the fear of falling. What emerges will be a version of you that doesn't flinch, doesn't falter, doesn't quit. Can you feel that shift already? It's time to rise. Now let's turn inward, deep within you. There's a flicker, a tiny, stubborn flame that refuses to die, no matter how many times you've tried to smother it. That's your desire, your hunger for more, for better, for the life you've always envisioned. Quitting dims it, but it never fully extinguishes it. Why does it persist? Because it's the truest part of you. The voice that knows surrender is not your destiny. That flame is your guide, your reminder that transformation is not just possible, it's inevitable if you choose to fuel it. Imagine that desire as a wildfire waiting to be unleashed. Every time you've quit, you've doused it with the cold water of doubt. But here's the secret. Even a single spark can reignite a forest. You don't need to start over. You need to start again. Fan that flame with small acts of courage, saying yes to a challenge, stepping back into the ring, rewriting the plan you abandoned. Let it grow until it consumes the weak version of yourself, until there's nothing left but ash and a new, soaring spirit, like a phoenix. Your desire is your rebirth. It's not enough to feel it. You must act on it. What's one dream you've let fade? Reach for it now. Light that fire. Burn away the old. Become the force you were meant to be. When the urge to quit grips you, pause, don't react, don't retreat, stand still and breathe. That moment of stillness is your power. Ask yourself, am I running from pain or am I running from growth? Write down one reason, one single, unshakable reason why you started this journey. Maybe it's the vision of your future self, standing tall. Maybe it's the promise you made to someone who believes in you. Hold that reason like a torch in the dark. Let it guide you through the temptation to surrender. Then take one step, not 10, not 100, just one. If you're the student who failed, open your textbook to the first page. If you're the athlete who stopped, stretch for 5 minutes. That small act is your defiance against quitting. It's your first feather in the phoenix's wings. Build on it each day. Track your progress, not to obsess over perfection, but to remind yourself that every inch forward is a piece of the old, weak self burning away. When doubt creeps in again, return to that reason. Speak it aloud. Let it be your shield. You're not just fighting to win, you're fighting to become. Step into the fire. Transform. Resolve is not a gift, it's a muscle. You build it through deliberate choices. Start by creating a no-quit ritual. Every morning, stand before a mirror and speak 3 truths to yourself. I am stronger than my setbacks. I choose to keep going. I will rise. Let these words sink into your core. They're not just affirmations. They're your battle cry. Then set a micro goal for the day, something so small it's undeniable. Maybe it's writing 1 sentence of a delayed project or walking 1 lap around the block. Complete it, no matter how you feel. That completion is fuel for your fire. When the weight of quitting tempts you, shift your focus. Visualize yourself as that phoenix, wings unfolding from the ashes. See the old self crumbling, the weak voice silenced. Hold that image as you push through. And remember, resolve grows in community. Share your struggle with someone who lifts you up, a friend, a mentor, a coach. Let their belief in you mirror your own. You're not alone in this blaze. Together, we burn brighter. Keep these steps close. They're your tools to ignite the transformation. Rise with purpose. Don't just endure the flames, become them. You've walked through the fire of resolve, felt the sting of quitting, and faced the ashes of your past surrenders. You've seen how the student's retreat and the athlete's fear are not endings, but beginnings if you choose to rise. The pain of giving up is a heavy chain, but the desire to transform is the key that breaks it. Like a phoenix, you must let the old, weak version of yourself burn to dust so the unbreakable can take flight. The takeaway is this: transformation begins when you stop fearing the flames of failure and start using them to forge your strength. Every setback, every doubt, every moment of surrender is fuel for your rebirth if you dare to ignite it. So, stand tall, look into the pyre of your past and declare that you will no longer be held by the weight of quitting. Your resolve is your fire, your desire is your wind, and your action is your wings. We've only just begun this journey to kill that weak version of yourself. Ahead lies more to conquer, more to burn away, more to become. For now, carry this truth as your spark. Rise from the ashes. You were born to soar. Picture this: a blade, raw and unformed, thrust into a roaring furnace. The heat is unbearable, the pressure unrelenting, as flames lick at its edges and the hammer falls with brutal precision. This is no destruction, it's creation. That blade is you, forged in the fires of struggle, shaped by the weight of doubt, and tempered by every moment you refuse to break. In this journey to kill that weak version of yourself that keeps quitting, we now stand at the crucible of transformation. This is about forging an unbreakable will, about learning to silence the whispers of surrender and build a persistence so fierce that no setback can shatter it. You've stumbled, you've wavered, but here in the heart of the fire, you will rise stronger. Are you ready to endure the heat? To let the pain sculpt you into something unstoppable? Let's step into the forge together and craft a resolve that no storm can bend. Imagine you're a small business owner, pouring every ounce of your soul into a dream, a modest cafe on a quiet street corner. You've invested your savings, your sleepless nights, sketching menus by lamplight, imagining the laughter of customers filling the air. But reality strikes like a hammer on hot steel. The first month, barely a soul walks through your door. Suppliers raise prices, equipment breaks, and a scathing online review cuts deeper than any financial loss. That weak voice inside whispers, "This was a mistake. Shut it down. Walk away." Your hands tremble as you lock up at night, doubt creeping like rust over your spirit. Why keep fighting when every day feels like a defeat? But you don't quit. You pause. You breathe. You pivot. Instead of crumbling, you study the feedback. Tweak your offerings. Maybe it's a new coffee blend or a cozy open mic night to draw a crowd. You hustle harder, handing out flyers at dawn, smiling through the exhaustion. Slowly, a few regulars appear, then a few more. One day, a customer says, "This place feels like home." That moment, small as it seems, is a spark in the forge. Each failure has hammered you. Each loss has heated the steel of your will. And now, you're sharper. You're learning that persistence isn't about avoiding pain. It's about enduring it, reshaping it into strength, like a sword pulled from the flames. You're not just surviving, you're becoming a weapon against your own weakness. The lesson burns clear. Every setback is a strike that shapes you if you refuse to shatter. Now see yourself as a parent, caught in the relentless whirlwind of life. You're juggling a demanding job, endless errands, and the weight of raising a family. Yet, deep inside, a passion smolders, a dream to write a novel, to paint, to build something uniquely yours. But time is a thief. After tucking the kids into bed, you're too drained to pick up a pen or brush. That weak version of you sighs, "Tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow." Days bleed into weeks, and the dream dims. Doubt sneers. Who are you to think you can do this? You're too busy, too tired. The fire within flickers, threatened by the cold weight of responsibility. Yet, one night, something shifts. You refuse to let that weak voice win. You set an alarm for 5 a.m. before the house stirs. In the quiet dawn, you steal 30 minutes, just 30, to write a paragraph or sketch a line. It's not much, but it's a strike against surrender. Each morning, you carve out that sliver of time, guarding it like a sacred flame. Some days the words won't come, or the paint smudges, but you show up anyway. Months later, you hold a rough draft, a small canvas, proof of your rebellion. The forge of your will has been stoked by these tiny, defiant winds. Like a blade tempered under relentless pressure, you've learned that persistence isn't about grand gestures. It's about showing up, even when the odds mock you. The takeaway sears into your soul. Strength is built in the quiet moments when you choose to keep going. No matter how small the step, step back for a moment and consider the nature of doubt. It's a shadow that stalks every dream, a cold wind that seeks to extinguish the fire of your ambition. But what if I told you that doubt isn't your enemy? What if it's the very heat that forges your unbreakable will? Think of yourself as that sword in the furnace. The flames of uncertainty, the hammer of failure. They aren't here to destroy you. They're here to refine you. Every time you doubt yourself, every time that weak version of you begs to quit, you're being tested. Will you melt under the pressure, or will you let it shape you into something stronger? Look at the scars of your past struggles. Each one tells a story of a moment you could have surrendered, but didn't. How many times have you fallen, only to stand again? How many dreams have you almost abandoned, only to realize the pain of quitting hurts more than the pain of pushing forward? The forge doesn't care for comfort. It demands endurance. It demands that you face the heat head on, that you embrace the weight of every blow. Persistence isn't a gift, it's a choice. A choice to let the fire burn away your weakness and reveal the steel beneath. So, stand in the flames. Let doubt rage around you. You are not here to be consumed. You are here to be crafted into something unstoppable. Let's dive deeper into the rhythm of persistence. Imagine the hammer striking the blade, each blow reverberating through the metal, forcing it to yield, to transform. That hammer is life, its challenges, its rejections, its endless demands. It doesn't ask if you're ready, it strikes anyway. And in those moments of impact, that weak version of you screams to escape, to drop everything and run. But what happens when you stay? What happens when you absorb the blow and let it shape you? Persistence is not a straight path. It's a jagged climb up a mountain of molten rock. Every step burns, every misstep scars, but with each ascent, your resolve hardens. You begin to see that the hammer's weight isn't cruelty, it's necessity. Without it, you remain unshaped, a lump of potential with no edge, no purpose. The weak version of you fears the strike, but the stronger you, the one being forged, craves it. You start to understand that pain is not a wall, it's a doorway. On the other side lies a version of yourself that no force can break. So, welcome the hammer, let it fall. Ask yourself, how many blows will it take to craft me into who I'm meant to be? The answer doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep standing, ready for the next. Now, while let's arm you with a weapon to wield in the forge, doubt will come, it's inevitable. It will creep into your mind in the quiet hours, whispering that you're not enough, that you should give up. But you can silence it. Here's how. When that voice starts, pause, don't react. Take a deep breath and ground yourself in the present. Ask one simple question. What is the next small step I can take right now? Not the whole journey, not the towering goal, just the next move. Maybe it's writing one sentence, making one call, or lacing up your shoes for a 5-minute walk. Focus on that and only that. Then write it down. Keep a small notebook or a note on your phone titled Proof of Persistence. Each time you take that small step, jot it down with the date. Today, I wrote 100 words. Today, I reached out to one client. These are your hammer strikes, your proof that you're still in the forge, still shaping yourself. When doubt grows loud, read through those entries. Let them remind you of the fire you've already endured. You're not starting from nothing. You're building on every step you've taken. This isn't about perfection. It's about motion. Keep moving, and the weak version of you will have no ground to stand on. Persistence isn't a feeling, it's a habit, a muscle you train through repetition. So let's build it. Start by identifying one area where you've been quitting too easily. Maybe it's a project, a skill, or a personal goal. Commit to showing up for it every day, even if just for 10 minutes. Set a non-negotiable time, early morning, late night, whatever works, and guard it fiercely. Treat it like a sacred ritual. Tell yourself, for these 10 minutes, I will not quit. I will not waver. Next, anticipate the resistance. That weak voice will rise, armed with excuses. I'm too tired. This isn't working. Have a response ready. Say aloud, I'm not here to feel good. I'm here to forge my will. Speak it with conviction. Then, track your streak. Mark each day you show up on a calendar or app. Watch the chain grow. Each mark is a tempering of your steel, a defiance of surrender. If you miss a day, don't spiral. Start again, right then. The forge doesn't close because of one misstep. It waits for you to return. This habit, built brick by brick, becomes your shield against doubt. You're not just enduring, you're becoming relentless. As we step out of the forge, look at what you've crafted. You've faced the fire of doubt, endured the hammer of failure, and emerged with an unbreakable will. Through the stories of the small business owner, pivoting through loss, and the parent stealing moments for their passion, You've seen that persistence isn't a sudden triumph. It's a series of choices to keep standing, to keep striking. No matter the heat, the reflections have shown you that pain is your teacher, not your captor, and the practical steps have armed you with tools to silence that weak voice begging to quit. The key lesson burns bright. Strength is born from enduring pain and pressure, from choosing to stay in the fire until you're transformed. Now, why carry this heat forward? You're not done forging yourself. There are more flames to face, more blows to absorb. In the next chapter of this journey, we'll explore how to wield this newfound will, how to turn it into a force that carves your path through any obstacle. Until then, hold this truth close. Let it be your battle cry as you stand ready for whatever comes next. Stand in the fire. Let it forge you into steel. You stand at the base of a towering mountain, the wind howling like a beast unleashed. Dark clouds churn above, and the first icy drops of a storm sting your face. Do you turn back, seeking shelter from the chaos? Or do you plant your feet and face the tempest head on? This is not just a storm of weather, it's the storm of life. The relentless barrage of challenges that test the very core of who you are. In this moment, you're not just fighting the elements, you're fighting that weak version of yourself that whispers, "Give up, it's too hard. You're not enough." But hear this now. Every challenge is a proving ground. Every gust, every crack of thunder is an opportunity to show the world and yourself that you forged something unbreakable within. Welcome to Standing Through the Storm, a chapter in your journey to kill that weak version of yourself that keeps quitting. Here, you'll learn to embrace challenges not as burdens, but as the very fire that tempers your strength. So, Wina, lift your head, feel the rain on your skin, and let's climb this mountain together. Picture yourself as a job seeker, your resume a worn map in your hands, each rejection a jagged scar on your spirit. You've sent out dozens of applications, hundreds maybe. Each no lands like a stone, piling up until the weight feels unbearable. You sit at your desk, staring at yet another polite email. "We regret to inform you." Your chest tightens. That weak voice creeps in, murmuring, "Maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe it's time to settle." You've heard it before, and haven't you? It's the voice that's made you quit 1,000 times in 1,000 small ways. But this time, something shifts. You pause. You remember the mountain in the storm, unyielding, enduring, its roots deep in the earth. You decide to be that mountain. Instead of crumbling, you pick up the latest rejection like a piece of raw ore. You study it. What didn't work? Was it the phrasing in your cover letter? Did your skills not align with their needs? You refine your approach, tailoring each application with precision, learning from every no as if it's a mentor in disguise. Days turn to weeks, and the storm of rejection rages on. But you don't flinch. You keep climbing, each step a defiance of that quitting voice. Then, one day, an email arrives, an interview. Not a victory yet, but a crack of light through the clouds. You've proven something to yourself. Each no wasn't a dead end. It was a detour shaping your path. Like the mountain enduring the storm, you stood firm, and now the summit is in sight. The lesson burns bright. Challenges aren't walls. They're whetstones sharpening your resolve. You didn't quit, you grew. Now imagine yourself as a creative artist, a painter with a canvas that's been blank for too long. You've started a project, a mural, a novel, a symphony that once lit your soul on fire. But months in, the spark dims. Every brushstroke feels wrong, every word hollow. Self-doubt, that old familiar storm, rolls in with thunderous force. "Who do you think you are to create something great?" it roars. "This will never be good enough." Your hands tremble. You want to abandon the work, to shove it into a dark drawer and forget. That weak version of yourself is loud now, begging for the comfort of surrender. But deep down, you know quitting this project means quitting on yourself. So, you stand through the storm. You grip your brush like a lifeline and face the canvas again. You remind yourself of the mountain, scarred by lightning, battered by wind, yet still standing tall. Each doubt becomes a gust you endure. Each mistake a raindrop you shake off. You push through one stroke at a time, one word after another. Some days it's agony, others it's merely hard. But slowly, the mural takes shape. The story finds its voice. The melody sings. When you finally step back, months or years later, you see it, a creation born not despite the storm, but because of it. The lesson is carved into your bones. Challenges are the crucible where your strength is forged. You didn't quit, you created, and in doing so, you buried that weak version of yourself beneath a masterpiece of resilience. Let's step back for a moment and gaze upon that mountain in your mind's eye. See how it looms, ancient and unbowed, while the storm rages around it. Lightning splits the sky, winds tear at its slopes, yet it does not crumble. It does not apologize for its scars. It simply is. What if you could embody that same quiet power? How many times have you let a challenge, a rejection, a failure, a moment of doubt convince you to shrink, to hide, to quit? The truth is, challenges are not your enemies. They are your architects. They carve away the weak, the brittle, the temporary, leaving behind only what is enduring in you. Think of life as a relentless sculptor, chiseling at your edges with every hardship. It hurts, yes, it stings, but with each strike, you are shaped into something stronger, something truer. That job rejection, it's teaching you patience and precision. That creative block, it's forcing you to dig deeper, to find a well of grit you didn't know you had. The storm is not here to destroy you, it's here to reveal you. So, stand through it. Let the rain wash away your fear. Let the wind strip away your excuses. What remains will be the version of yourself you've always wanted to be. Unshakable, resolute, alive. Embrace the challenge, not as a burden, but as a mirror showing you just how powerful you can become. Consider also the river, a force of nature so unlike the mountain, yet equally relentless. It does not stand still to endure the storm. It moves, carving its path through stone over centuries. Its strength is not in resisting, but in persisting. Are you not like that river? How many obstacles have you faced that seemed as immovable as granite? Fear, failure, doubt, only to find that your steady effort, your refusal to quit, wore them down? Challenges are not just storms to survive, they are stones to shape. They are opportunities to prove that your will, like water, can outlast even the hardest barriers. When you face a no, a setback, or a moment of despair, do you stop flowing, or do you keep moving, finding new ways around, over, or through? The weak version of yourself wants to freeze, to stagnate, to let the stone win. But you are not weak. You are a current, unstoppable in your quiet determination. Every challenge you embrace becomes a testament to your power, not loud, not flashy, but undeniable. So, flow on. Let the storm rage. Let the stones stand in your way. In time, they will yield, and the path you've carved will be a story of triumph no one can erase. Now, let's ground this philosophy in action. When the storm of challenges hits, and it will, you need a plan to stand firm. First, pause. Don't react in the heat of frustration or fear. Take a deep breath and picture that mountain in your mind. Feel its stillness. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this moment? Write down one thing. Maybe it's a skill to improve, a mindset to shift, or a boundary to set. This isn't just reflection, it's reclamation. You're taking the storm's energy and turning it into fuel. Next, break the challenge into smaller ridges to climb. If you're facing rejection after rejection, don't aim for the summit in one leap. Focus on one application, one conversation, one connection at a time. If self-doubt is your tempest, Commit to one small act of creation, a single sentence, a rough sketch, each day. Small steps build unyielding momentum. Finally, anchor yourself with a reminder of why you started. Keep a note, a photo, or a quote somewhere visible. When the wind howls loudest, glance at it and remember, this storm is temporary, but your strength is eternal. Stand through it. You are more than enough. Here's another tool to fortify yourself against the urge to quit. Build an inner fortress, a mental space where challenges can't touch your core. Start by identifying your triggers. What makes that weak voice loudest? Is it criticism, fatigue, comparison? Write them down. Now, for each trigger, craft a counterthought. If criticism stings, tell yourself, this feedback is a map to my growth. If fatigue tempts you to stop, say, rest, then rise. I'm not done. Repeat these like a mantra until they drown out the quitting voice. Then surround yourself with reinforcements. Find one person, a friend, a mentor, a community who believes in your climb. Share your struggles with them, not for pity, but for perspective. Let their faith in you mirror your own when the storm clouds your vision. And every night, before you sleep, name one way you stood through the day's challenges. Maybe you sent one more email. Maybe you painted one more stroke. Celebrate it, brick by brick. You're building a fortress of resilience no storm can shatter. Keep standing. Keep building. The weak version of yourself doesn't stand a chance. As the storm begins to wane, look back at the path you've climbed. You've faced rejection and turned it into resolve. You've wrestled self-doubt and birthed creation from chaos. You've stood through the tempest, not because it was easy, but because you refused to let that weak version of yourself win. The key lesson of this chapter shines like a beacon through the clearing clouds. Challenges are not obstacles. They are opportunities to prove your new strength. Every no, every doubt, every struggle is a test, and you've passed it by choosing to endure. You are the mountain, scarred but standing, a testament to resilience against relentless odds. Now, as the rain slows and the wind quiets, know that more storms will come, but you are ready. You've learned to embrace the chaos, to let it shape you without breaking you. Carry this truth forward as we prepare to delve deeper into the next stage of your transformation, where you'll not just stand through storms, but harness their power to soar. Until then, hold this mantra close. Let it echo in your heart with every step. Stand unbowed. You are the mountain no storm can move. Picture yourself standing on a jagged cliff, the ocean raging below, waves smashing against an unyielding lighthouse. The storm howls, yet the beacon stands firm, its light piercing the chaos, guiding lost ships to safety. That lighthouse is you, transformed, unbreakable, a symbol of triumph over the tempests of doubt and surrender. You've battled the weak version of yourself, the one that quits when the winds blow fierce, and now you rise as a force of inspiration. In this moment, you're not just surviving, you're illuminating the path for others. How many have you inspired by refusing to break? This is the heart of the triumph of the unstoppable, a celebration of your transformation within the greater war to kill that weak version of yourself that keeps quitting. Feel the salt of the storm on your skin, the weight of your victory in your chest. You've earned this. Now, let's show others how to stand as tall. There was a time when you would have hidden from the spotlight, when your voice trembled at the thought of leading. Imagine a young woman named Clara, who once shrank at every raised voice, every critical glance. Her dreams of guiding others felt like distant stars, beautiful but untouchable. She'd start projects, join teams, only to quit when the pressure mounted. That weak version of herself whispered, "You're not enough. Step back. Stay safe." Each retreat carved a deeper wound, a heavier shame. But one day, after yet another abandoned goal, Clara paused. She saw the pattern. Quitting wasn't safety. It was a slow death of her spirit. She vowed to change. Over years, she rebuilt herself, brick by brick. She took small steps, speaking up in a meeting, volunteering for a task, enduring the discomfort of being seen. Each moment of persistence was a wave crashing against her resolve, threatening to topple her, yet like a lighthouse against the tide. She stood. Failure came. Criticism stung, but she refused to quit. Slowly, her voice grew steady, her posture firm. Today, Clara leads a team of aspiring entrepreneurs. Her once timid heart now a beacon for those who doubt their own strength. Her transformation wasn't just personal, it became a signal to others. If I can stand through the storm, so can you. The lesson is clear. Your steadfastness, like a lighthouse, doesn't just save you, it saves others lost in their own chaos. The takeaway of this triumph is that your transformation is a gift to the world. By killing your weakness, you light the way for others to do the same. Now picture a man named Elias, whose life once crumbled under the weight of addiction. Every day was a surrender to the bottle, to despair, to the weak version of himself that couldn't say no. He'd promised to stop, to rebuild, only to quit when cravings clawed at his resolve. Friends drifted away, opportunities vanished, and the mirror reflected a stranger he hated. But deep within, a flicker of defiance remained. One night, rock bottom became his foundation. He chose to fight, not for himself alone, but for his daughter, who deserved a father she could trust. Elias's journey was a brutal storm. Withdrawal shook his body, doubt battered his mind, but he anchored himself to a vision of redemption. He sought help, joined groups, and faced each craving with raw, stubborn grit. Like a lighthouse enduring endless waves, he stood through relapses and setbacks, refusing to let the tide pull him under. Years later, clean and steady, Elias now speaks at recovery meetings, his story a piercing light for those still drowning in their own darkness. Strangers approach him, tears in their eyes, saying, "If you made it, maybe I can too." His triumph isn't just survival, it's a call to others. Kill that weak version of yourself, stand firm, and become a guide. The lesson echoes, your transformation, hard won through steadfastness, isn't yours alone. It's a beacon, proving to others that the storm can be outlasted, aligning with the takeaway that your change inspires a ripple of courage. Look inward. What storms have you weathered to stand here today? You are not just flesh and bone, you are a lighthouse, forged by every wave of doubt, every gale of fear you've defied. Celebrating your transformation isn't vanity, it's a recognition of the power you've claimed. That weak version of yourself, the one that quits, cowers and flees, still lingers in the shadows, whispering for you to falter. But you've learned its tricks. You've seen how quitting dims your light, how surrender leaves you adrift. Now, you stand against the chaos, your resolve a beam cutting through the fog of others' despair. Think of the lighthouse. Does it question its purpose when the waves roar? No, it stands unyielding, because its light is needed most in the darkest hours. This is your truth. Transformation isn't a solitary victory. Every time you kill that weak part of yourself, you send a signal to the world. I endured, and so can you. How many have watched you rise and felt a spark of hope? How many dreams might awaken because you refuse to break? Your steadfastness is a silent promise to others. The storm is not the end. It's the forge. Let this sink deep into your soul. Your triumph over weakness isn't just about you. It's a lighthouse for the lost, a proof that chaos can be conquered. Hold this close as you move forward. Your light matters more than you know. Consider the ocean around your lighthouse, Each wave that crashes against you isn't just a test. It's a story, a force that shapes the shorelines of others' lives. When you transform, when you kill that quitting spirit within, you don't just alter your path. You create ripples that reach far beyond your sight. Think of a seed buried in frozen earth. It doesn't bloom overnight. It endures the cold, the weight, until it splits the ground with quiet strength. That's you. Your persistence through pain, through the urge to give up, is a seed of inspiration planted in others. You may never see every flower it grows, but trust this, your resilience reshapes the world. Why do we hesitate to celebrate our victories? Is it fear of seeming proud, or do we forget the battles we've won? Let me remind you, every step forward, every refusal to quit, is a wave of change. Your transformation is a call to arms for others to slay their own weaknesses, like a river carving through stone. Your steady fight wears down despair in those who witness it. You're not just a survivor, you're a catalyst. So stand tall. Let your light shine without shame. The chaos around you, doubt, struggle, fear cannot dim what you've built. Your triumph is a living testament, a reminder to all, kill the quitter within and become unstoppable. Transformation isn't a one-time event, it's a daily choice to stand firm. When you've killed that weak version of yourself, the next step is to inspire others through action. Start small but be deliberate. Each morning, write down one way you'll show your strength. Maybe it's speaking up in a conversation you'd normally avoid, or committing to a task you've delayed. Let this act be your lighthouse beam, small but piercing. When doubt creeps in, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, what would my strongest self do right now? Then do it, even if your hands shake. Share your story too. You don't need a stage or a crowd, just one person who needs hope. Tell them how you struggled, how you refused to quit, how you stood like a lighthouse against the storm. Your words might be the light they've been searching for. And when you falter, because you will, don't hide it. Show others that falling isn't failing. It's part of the climb. Get up. Keep shining. This daily practice of courage and openness turns your triumph into a tool for others. You're not just unstoppable, you're a guide. Make that choice today. Light the way. Inspiring others isn't just about words. It's about crafting a life that stands as proof. Take inventory of your habits. Are they aligned with the unstoppable force you've become? If not, cut them down. Replace quitting with small, consistent wins. If you're tempted to abandon a goal, set a timer for 5 minutes and push through. Often, that's all it takes to break the cycle of surrender. Track these victories, no matter how minor. They're the stones of your lighthouse, proof of your endurance. Then reach out, mentor someone who's struggling, offer a hand, an ear, or just your presence. Show them that transformation isn't magic, it's grit, choice, and time. When they see you, let them see a life built on refusal to quit. Ask them, what's one step you can take today? Guide them to their own small triumph. This isn't just inspiration, it's legacy. Your transformation becomes a blueprint for others to kill their weaknesses. Build it consciously. Every act of strength, every moment you stand firm, adds to a monument others can look to. Be that unyielding light. Start now. You've journeyed through the storm, faced the crashing waves of doubt, and emerged as a lighthouse, unstoppable, radiant, a guide for the lost. In the triumph of the unstoppable, we've celebrated your transformation, not as an end, but as a beginning. You've killed that weak version of yourself that keeps quitting, and in doing so, you've ignited a fire in others. Clara's rise from timidity to leadership, Elias's redemption from addiction. These stories mirror your own. They remind us that steadfastness isn't just personal, it's a gift to the world. The philosophical truths we've uncovered, the practical steps we've laid out, all point to the takeaway. Your transformation is a beacon, inspiring others to slay their own weaknesses. As you stand on this cliff, the ocean still roars below, but you no longer fear it. Your light cuts through the chaos, a promise that the storm can be endured. Carry this forward. Let every choice, every act of courage, shine brighter. Prepare now to take this strength into new battles, to face the next challenges with the same unyielding resolve. You are unstoppable, and your light will guide us all. Stand firm,